Welcome back, everyone. You're tuned in to the HIV RNA Test Guide.
Glad to be here.
As always, we're your trusted source for HIV testing info across the U.S., with our network of over 4,500 testing labs.
That's right.
And today, we're doing a deep dive into some really groundbreaking stuff happening in HIV research in 2025.
Yeah, it's moving beyond just, managing the virus day to day. We're talking about potential cures, real game changers.
Exactly, and vaccines, too, things that felt like science fiction not that long ago.
Right.
So we've looked at the latest developments, and we're going to break down, let's say, the top 5 leading candidates. We'll explain how they work, what it might mean.
And what it might mean for people living with HIV or looking for prevention options right here in the U.S.
Perfect. So let's kick things off. First up is Gilead Sciences LTZ.
Yeah, LTZ. It stands for long-acting combination therapy.
Long-acting, okay.
It basically combines Lenacapavir, which people might know, with 2 broadly neutralizing antibodies, or bNAbs. They're called terapavimab and zinlervimab.
Okay, so a combo. What makes it stand out?
The key thing is how often it's given. It's administered just twice a year.
Wow, twice a year, not daily pills.
Exactly. Imagine getting treatment biannually and achieving viral suppression. That's the goal.
That's huge. It's got that FDA breakthrough therapy designation too, right?
Oh,
which, signals it's pretty promising.
It absolutely does. It highlights the potential impact, reducing that daily medication burden significantly.
Yeah, the mental load alone, just not having that daily reminder.
Precisely. Less stigma, potentially better mental well-being. It's a big deal.
Okay, so that's LTZ. What's next on the list?
Next, let's talk about EBT-101. This one's from Excision Biotherapeutics.
EBT-101, and this uses CRISPR, right?
That's the one. CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing. Think of it like molecular scissors.
Okay.
Very precise scissors that go into the infected cells and are designed to find the HIV DNA integrated there.
And just cut it out.
And try to remove it.
Yeah,
excise it. That's the idea behind the name Excision.
Directly attacking the virus's blueprint inside the cell. That sounds ambitious.
It is. It's aiming for a cure, essentially, by removing the source. It got FDA Fast Track status back in July 2023.
Right, I remember that. And the early trials.
Early human trials have looked okay from a safety perspective, and I believe the current studies are set to wrap up around March 2025.
So we might get more data soon. Very interesting. Okay, number 3.
Number 3 is from Immunocore. It's called IMC M113V.
IMC M113V, a bit of a mouthful.
Huh. Yeah, it's a T-cell receptor bispecific therapy.
Okay, bispecific, meaning it does 2 things.
Sort of. Think of it like a bridge or maybe a connector. One end grabs onto an HIV-infected cell.
Okay.
And the other end grabs onto one of your own immune cells, specifically a T-cell.
Ah, so it brings the fighter T-cell directly to the infected cell.
Exactly. It forces them together, enabling the T-cell to destroy the HIV-infected cell. It's like targeted destruction, using your own immune system more effectively.
That's clever. Using the body's own defenses, but giving them, laser focus?
Precisely. And early results, presented, I think, at CROI 2025, were promising. They showed it might actually reduce the HIV reservoir.
The reservoir, that hidden inactive virus that's so hard to treat, right?
That's the one. Current drugs suppress the active virus, but hitting the reservoir is key for a potential cure.
So this could be a step towards that. Okay, what's number 4?
Number 4 isn't one specific drug, but rather more progress on broadly neutralizing antibody therapies, bNAbs again.
We mentioned those with the LTZ. What's new here?
Well, there have been some really intriguing recent studies. In some participants, just a single injection of certain bNAbs has kept the virus suppressed.
For how long?
For nearly a year in some cases.
Wow. One shot, nearly a year of suppression.
Yeah. It's still being studied, of course, but it suggests bNAbs could potentially be an alternative to daily pills for long-term control.
That would be incredible. Again, reducing that treatment burden, offering more freedom, seems like a common theme here.
It really is. People want less intensive, more convenient options, and the research is responding to that.
Okay, that brings us to number 5. What's the last one?
The last area is mRNA-based HIV vaccine candidates.
mRNA, like the COVID vaccines.
Exactly the same underlying technology. We're all pretty familiar with how that works now, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So these HIV vaccine candidates use mRNA to tell the body's cells to make specific parts of the HIV virus, or things that look like them.
Which then triggers an immune response.
Precisely. To hopefully train the immune system to recognize and neutralize the actual virus if it encounters it.
And how are they doing?
Well, it's still early days for these HIV vaccines, let's be clear, but some candidates have shown they can generate immune responses capable of neutralizing a pretty significant range of HIV strains found here in the U.S.
That's encouraging. Even if it's early, the idea of an effective preventative vaccine, that's the ultimate goal for ending the epidemic, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It represents a proactive approach, preventing infection in the first place.
So, summing up, LTZ for less frequent treatment, CRISPR for possibly cutting out the virus, IMC M113V for targeted destruction, bNAbs for long-term suppression with single shots, and mRNA vaccines for prevention. It's quite a lineup.
It really is a transformative time. We're seeing potential pathways opening up that could genuinely shift things from lifelong daily management towards, functional cures or very long-acting control and effective prevention.
So for everyone listening, especially across the US where this research is unfolding, if any of this sparks your interest, the first step is always talking to your healthcare provider, right?
Definitely. They can give you personalized information based on your situation.
And also, maybe consider looking into clinical trials. It's not for everyone, but it's a way to potentially access these cutting-edge approaches and, help move the science forward.
Absolutely. Participation is vital for getting these therapies approved and available.
It really feels like we're on the cusp of something big. So maybe a final thought to leave our listeners with. With all this happening so fast, what kind of new possibilities, what changes in how we live with or prevent HIV might we realistically see in our communities?
And some early candidates have shown they can generate responses that neutralize a significant portion of HIV strains found here in the U.S.
That's really encouraging, even neutralizing different strains.
It is. Now, these are still early days for HIV vaccines compared to treatments. Lots of hurdles still. But it's a massive step towards effective prevention.
Prevention is the ultimate goal, isn't it? So, wrapping this up, LTZ, CRISPR, the T-cell connector, bNAbs, mRNA vaccines, it really feels like a transformative time.
It genuinely does. We're seeing this potential shift moving away from just lifelong management towards, functional cures and maybe finally effective vaccines. The landscape will look very different soon.
So for everyone listening across the U.S., if any of this sounds interesting, if you want to know more about these possibilities,
definitely talk to your healthcare provider. They'll have the most up-to-date information relevant to your situation.
And, maybe consider looking into clinical trials. It's not for everyone, but it's a way to potentially access these cutting-edge approaches and also help move the science forward.
A really important point. Participation drives progress.
Absolutely. So here's a final thought to leave you with. With all this happening so quickly, these advancements, what new possibilities for living with HIV, or even preventing it altogether, might we actually see in our communities across the nation in just the next few years?
It's an exciting question to ponder.
Yeah.
Really exciting.
Oh.